In this video, I wanted to check out Kodak Gold 200 and give my first thoughts. I've never shot with Kodak Gold 200 before, and I've heard some really great things about it, seen some really beautiful sample images, but I want to check it out for myself. My current go-to color film stock is Fuji Color 200. It has a nice look with just the balance of colors that I like. What film stock you use is an important part of the process, and each stock you're choosing is for a reason, whether it's the color, the saturation, the contrast. I definitely consider it one of the artistic choices in shooting film. Besides cropping out the scanner bed and aligning the horizon, I never make any color adjustments anymore. Now, why am I getting into the philosophy of film choice and film stocks, film colors? Well, take a look at this first roll of images. Where is the gold? There is no gold to these images. I'm pretty sure I got a bad roll of film and I just so happened to shoot it on my very first time trying Kodak Gold 200. What are the chances that of all the films in the world, I got a dud? I got my rolls of film back one at a time from development, and it also just so happens that this was the first roll of photos that I even saw, so you can imagine how disappointed I was when Kodak Gold turned into Kodak washed out blue-gray. I was kind of bummed out, and I figured that maybe all the sample images I saw were just edits, and Kodak Gold didn't really live up to the name Kodak Gold. But being the brave trooper I was, I pressed on and shot through my second roll of Kodak Gold and kept hoping that maybe, just maybe, this was just a dud roll. And it turned out it was. We'll get to the better images later on in a little bit, but I still want to show these images because I still shot them. I still think they're good, and I still paid for them to be developed and printed, so I'm definitely still going to show them. I'm still going to post them. Not my favorite colors in the world, but like I said, I'm not going to edit the colors because that's what I got, and that's kind of how it goes with film. Now that I've concluded that this first roll was probably a dud, this shot really makes more sense. It really confused me because I metered correctly, I exposed correctly, and it's still super dark and weird looking. Of course, when I do say that, this next shot is pretty orange, this shot is washed out in blue, it's just back and forth all over the place. I don't know what's going on. That is A-okay. There's this guy. Now let's get a shot of him as he goes by. Now, let's talk about price, because this gold ain't cheap. These two rolls of Kodak Gold 200 cost me $30 whole. And if you can't do first grade math, let me break that down for you. That is $15 per roll. So not only was I disappointed with this first roll, I was also at 15 bucks of not what I paid for, which was equally as frustrating. Now, I do know that is just how the film market is right now. Everything's expensive, from film to cameras to accessories. Everything's expensive, but that doesn't mean it doesn't feel just as good to complain about it. I am currently kneeling on a bridge in the middle of the woods. With that disappointing first roll out of the way, we move on now to the second roll, where I actually started getting some of those nice, warm, goldish tones that I was looking for. Now, you may also realize that this video is different. Well, that's because I shot the first half of this roll of film on a live stream, and if you didn't catch the live stream, then you really missed out on some quality content like this. I know, hold back your tears. It's a real tragedy that you missed that live stream, but nonetheless, I will push on and hopefully stick my nostrils in front of less cameras as the future goes on. Anyway, these pictures turned out way better, and I'm super stoked on these images. They actually turned out gold. I'm so excited. They turned out gold. I got my money's worth. It's great. The dynamic range is good. The gold tones are wonderful. The sky turned out great when it's properly exposed. Overall, I really love the way this looks. It was around sunset, but the gold tones of this film stock really just amped up the goldness, and I was finally a believer that it actually lived up to its name. After the live stream, I headed to this abandoned gas station right after work, so that was around about noon, and you'll see from these images that it's not as orange as it is around sunset, which is kind of to be expected. This out of focus shot is really sweet, by the way, nicely done. The orange tones aren't as pronounced, but you can still kind of see it in the building. The building was more of like a cream color, and it turned out a little more orangey cream, and that's probably because of the film stock. So those still turned out really well. Found this nice abandoned water tower that was covered in rust, and this really just exploded in orange. I mean, look at that, it's gorgeous. After that, I happened upon this abandoned car yard with this really cool old train, and I had this really interesting interaction with the landowner.
Okay, no worries.
Let me explain it. I don't care,
Sure.
The only thing I don't like, when they check it, they put the address of the place.
Oh yeah, no, I watch out for that. You're entitled to your privacy and respect, and I'm not showing addresses. It's just the old train car really caught my eye. It's really pretty.
That's why, just don't put the address.
Absolutely, no worries, no problem at all. Thank you, sir.
So the landowner approached me and kind of expressed concerns. I guess a previous person or people had come by and taken pictures of the train and shared his address, and I imagine he probably got a lot of unwelcome visitors, so that really sucks. So if you're gonna go explore these abandoned places, always remember that somebody probably owns the place, and you should probably not show the address. So that does it for the second roll of Kodak Gold film. Let's get into the pros and cons. Pros: color. Dynamic range is awesome, sky looks really great. Grain, nearly non-existent. Cons, obviously it's expensive. I think I got a dud first roll, which sucks, and sometimes it's almost too warm, like a couple of those woods shots and the water tower. But besides that, I really enjoyed the second roll. I think you should definitely give it a try if you can swing the $30. Here's a nice picture of one of my cats to end on. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Be sure to like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.